Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah. A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to Honest J. Nowak, Mark of the Line. And I might as well just say really quickly that as far as things are going here on the channel, I'm probably going to expect a lot of new material to show up. Or maybe it's probably on your end. I'm the guy who seems to be making a lot of new material, so well, here we go with some more material for HJN enthusiasts who are still watching this. We're down to episode number 745. And this time, let's go on ahead and talk a little bit about one last well-known Japanese company out there in the global automotive marketplace. Subaru. Yeah. You probably thought that I would forget about something like this, but you know what? I'm just going to talk a little bit about that one after some time that I have not been able to, and I'm also more than glad that I still do have some requests that I am going to be able to do within the coming week or so, seeing as that's probably going to be the only time I'll ever have left for HJN content for right now. But until then, let's just talk a little bit about Subaru. Subaru, as you know, is a pretty big company out there. Whether we're talking about the Japanese marketplace as a whole, or if we're talking about the global marketplace, because it seems to sell very well on both ends. It's probably not extremely well in accordance with most other companies out there, like Chevrolet, Ford, Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Nissan, and even Mercedes-Benz and Audi. But out of all companies out there in existence in the Japanese marketplace, Subaru does follow pretty closely behind in terms of how sales and production accounts seem to be put into place. It may not be the king of the Japanese automotive marketplace entirely, but it does follow pretty close. It probably could be maybe the prince of it. Not necessarily at the top, but getting close. Out of all models though in Subaru, it's hard to pretty much go in and pick out a perfect model out there. If I could name any of them, then well, I'll just go on and talk a little bit about the model counts from which I remember the most. You have models out there from the oldest generation of the Subaru family, including the Legacy, the Outback, the Bratz, as well as, well, the Forester. And then of course we're talking a little bit about recent history of Subaru as well, like the Tribeca, the Crosstrek, the Ascent, and many more out there. Of course, we also can't forget about the BRZ, which is basically similar in ways to the Scion FRS and Toyota 86 GT. It seems that, well, all three of those cars are pretty much the same exact thing. They kind of are, in a way. They're basically just two-door roadsters, and again, that's just pretty much how that whole entire thing goes, as far as things are with that little trend right there. But it's come and gone, and because some companies are not necessarily able to keep up with some of the great sales that Subaru has been able to pull off in the past 15 years or so. Of course, we also can't go very far without talking a little bit about some of the discontinued models out there in Subaru's history, including the Baja, which is basically their own variant of a pickup truck, but it is more or less in comparison to some of the pickup models out there, basically a pickup hybrid of some sorts between a car and a pickup. And there were a lot of models out there like the Chevrolet El Camino, GMC Caballero, Ford Ranchero, and some others here and there that are pretty much in the same sort of body style, just all from a different generation. The Subaru Baja, though, is certainly that particular generation being revitalized in 2005 for the most part. But otherwise, Subaru's model lineup, whether you like it how it is or not, is more or less up for debate. But the thing about Subaru as it is, I myself am not entirely a fan of the whole thing itself as it is, but man, are they doing very well in terms of how things are going at this point. They're making sales of all sorts. They're putting out lots of models out there for the marketplace to utilize to the best of their advantage. I, of course, have had family that just so happens to own a bunch of Subarus. So that just pretty much means that there's a lot of loyalty and a lot of trust put into the company itself, in comparison to many others out there that are probably not at the best, I guess, partition of the level of trust that we're supposed to be building up right now. So the thing is, it's probably not really the best, but Subaru still is, without a doubt, probably one of the best sellers in today's automotive marketplace on a global scale. So that's just kind of what that whole entire thing is like. Well, you know what? I've pretty much had fun talking a little bit about the Japanese marketplace, but I suppose it's now time to get back into the States, for a little while at least. I will talk a bit more about some other companies that are overseas, but until then, if you want to see more go down on my channel, then make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.